All right, y'all. Now for the Eastern Conference for my $1 million winning bracket. So, Milwaukee, Detroit. Milwaukee in 6. You might be surprised that Detroit's going to win 2 games, but Blake Griffin is going to put on a show in games 3 and 4, and I think he's going to lead his team to surprise wins against the Bucks. Boston, Indiana. Boston has all of their guys pretty much. Well, Indiana. Well, they don't have Marcus Smart. But I think Marcus Smart not being in the rotation might be a better thing because they don't have too many guys to choose from to ball handle. So they have just enough responsibility. And if they really wanted, they can put Gordon Hayward back into the starting lineup where he belongs. I think that's actually the death lineup. Whereas Marcus Smart, he should be the one coming off the bench. So I think it's a blessing in disguise for them, addition by subtraction in a way. I have Indiana also losing because they don't have Victor Oladipo yet, but they win 1 game because they play really, really hard. So Philadelphia versus Brooklyn. I believe that Philadelphia is an amazing team. I had them actually winning in 5 games, but the thing is, with Joel Embiid's gonna be a little late returning. He might even return around game 3, maybe game 4ish. So if that happens, this is probably the result. I believe that 6 games for Philadelphia without even if I believe Joel doesn't come back for this series, I feel that maybe the closeout games, but I feel that Philadelphia can still beat the Brooklyn Nets. It would take a lot longer, maybe in 7 games, but they could still beat them without Joel Embiid. But Brooklyn is very talented. They work hard, exactly like pretty much all the playoff Eastern Conference teams on the lower side, basically from sides 5 through 8. They probably work the hardest because their talent isn't as much. So Orlando and Toronto. Toronto is going to be a sweep. It's a testament to how great Toronto is as opposed to the talents or the abilities of Orlando. Like, there's no lack in Orlando. They know how to shoot lights out. We played them 4 times. They swept us 4 times. Like they dominated us, and we were beating playoff teams. We were competing against Toronto. But the thing is, matchup wise, very few teams match up well against Toronto. So Toronto actually sweeps Orlando. It's not going to be too disappointing because this is the first time Orlando's made the playoffs in like what seems like a decade, but it's been like what 8 years, maybe 7 8. Okay, around 6. But we're gonna go to Philadelphia, Toronto, and I guess you're seeing the spoilers here. You're a little bit shocked that I have Philadelphia making the finals, but Philadelphia might not have the best record. Philadelphia might not be the best team in the Eastern Conference or have the best player in the Eastern Conference. Toronto is the best team in the Eastern Conference so far in the regular season. The Bucks have the best regular season player in the Eastern Conference in Giannis Antetokounmpo. But the 76ers have the best playoff roster. They have a roster that is built for the playoffs. That's all I have to say. I'm not going to even say championship level, but they have guys in there who deliver in the playoffs. That's all I have to say. And I'm talking about Jimmy Butler. Like if I mention nobody else, Tobias Harris is awesome. JJ Redick, and we all have Ben Simmons as our rookie of the year again, and no, Trae Young for the win. Anyway, also want to mention Joel Embiid is also going to be probably healthy around this series as well. But Jimmy Butler is the guy who's the X factor. He takes them to this next level in the playoffs. Him in the postseason is basically like it's I don't know, it's something else. I think we're gonna get a special, Jordan-esque performance, and that's comparing Jimmy Butler to Michael Jordan, not because he was a bull like Jordan, but also because of his talent, his skill level. It's on par in the playoffs with a Jordan caliber player. So I have him not escaping, but it's gonna be a fight, a dog fight. So they're gonna be on the road in Game 7, but Philly is end up winning in Game 7, basically. that it's gonna be Jimmy Butler has to come in the clutch. Basically, you have to have like a fourth quarter where he just goes off, and I think we're gonna get one of those Jimmy Butler fourth quarters in Game 7. Milwaukee versus the Boston Celtics. Now Boston had a lot of promise earlier going on in the season, but if they didn't land Anthony Davis, I wouldn't have them making it to the conference finals because where they've been playing, I think they lost a little bit of chemistry. They've sort of conceded a little bit because receded a little bit because the talent they had last year was scrappy. They played hard, and I think now with Kyrie and Gordon healthy, Hayward healthy, those two, Gordon Hayward and Kyrie Irving, actually took away from the team's actual chemistry that they had when they went to the conference finals last season. So with home court advantage also in Milwaukee's favor, Milwaukee's gonna close out in 6. Okay. And it might have a lot of repercussions to the offseason for Kyrie as well. So Milwaukee versus Philadelphia. I actually have Philadelphia again. Philly Philly is that team where, in the Eastern Conference, there's not really a team like them that matches up with them. Milwaukee has an amazing, one of the best players in the league, player in Giannis Antetokounmpo, and a bunch of shooters and talented players. But Philadelphia has actual skills and talents, people with different levels of actual abilities. And you have rainbows in Ben Simmons, or unicorns is the word, for extremely talented players in a lot of aspects of the game. A talented point forward in Ben Simmons as well as Joel Embiid. So that size and length, isn't just like mixed with one type of skill. These guys can shoot the three, they can dunk it, they can pass the ball, they can handle the ball. I mean, there's so many levels for the 76ers. There's so many levels to the game. And mix that with Jimmy Butler's clutch ability and Tobias Harris' scoring ability. And, just it's ridiculous. And JJ Redick's shooting ability and the rebounding. And Mike Scott. Mike Scott is very underrated. One of the team's 6 men of the team. So really, another X factor. But really, this team I have going to the finals. It's the 76ers year. So they beat the Bucks in 6 games. Okay. OKC wins the finals. OKC is a great team this year, but more importantly, it's Westbrook's time. Paul George is another exceptional player on the OKC Thunder, and I think it's his time as well. Oklahoma is going to be so pleased with this championship because they've earned it. Point margin of Game 1 finals, 11 points. All right, guys. Peace.